Early on in your career, what you go through is what I call the learning phase. Now, the comparison of this, if you look at the equity curve over here, is down there. This is the learning phase. You don't get any equity performance here. What you're learning is where you can make money. And this is where people are often frustrated early on in their career. They feel they're not really getting anywhere. They're not making any money. And this puts a lot of people off. But what's going on here is you're cultivating an edge. You're generating more trades. Even if they're not paying you, you're going through the process of generating more ideas, more trades. Now, some are going to work, some are not. And that's why you end up with this kind of scattered performance. But the more trades you have, once you start working out the ones that don't work and getting those out of the way, then you move into this phase, the growth phase. And once you move into the growth phase, then you start moving up here. So that's then the next part of it. The growth phase comes because now you've got a load more trades that you can do, loads more trades that you can take on. And this then is also not taking on so many of the trades that you don't do all that well. You can do these with more size because you understand those trades better. You've debriefed these trades. You can go, right, I've seen this before. I know what to do here. You're not just trying to do this with one lot and seeing if you can get anywhere with it. Now you have to say, I've seen this before. I know how I can leverage this trade up. I know what to do. I know where the opportunities are to add to the trade, push yourself on that trade. Now the difficulty comes arguably where both of these traders are starting to approach what I call a stabilization phase. You can't maintain this level of growth momentum. And this is why for anybody who's looked at things and extrapolated performance going forward, the problem with that is early on in your career, there is so much you don't know that your performance can grow very quick. This is now the stabilization phase. Now, what happens up here is you can't maintain growth by way of finding new ideas and new trades. You simply can't generate as many new things as you used to be able to because you've closed a lot of these simple open doors. Pick the low-hanging fruit. So now it's a case of incremental growth, steady improvement in terms of understanding how you can put more size on trades, understanding some of the trades that ultimately are costing you money and starting to reduce those trades down. They're the areas that you can really now grow from. And so you have to be able to recognize where you are in your career. If you're somebody who's feeling like they're getting nowhere, that's fine. As long as you can say confidently that you are learning new trades, that you're building up an understanding of what does work and what doesn't. Because over time, that will then start to pay you. You'll start to realize what it is that does make you money, and you can now start to take those trades and dismiss a lot of others. Early in your career, particularly when you're on a sim, and I talked about this last week, do lots of trades. Do lots of trades on a sim, because if you're doing lots of trades on a sim, what you're doing is you're working out what works for you. What you need to then do is narrow those down to get the growth phase of cutting out the ones that don't work. And then to keep on going, you can't generate new ideas. You've then got to start leveraging your trades to be able to get the next stage of growth movement. And that's then a psychological game, and that's why your debrief has to evolve further and further over time.